There once was a girl who lived in a kingdom ruled by gods, and she had the one thing they hated most, a voice. Let me tell you about Lyra. She wasn't royalty. She didn't live in a tower. And she definitely wasn't cursed at birth. She was just a girl. A mortal girl. In a town where beauty meant everything, and silence was considered polite. Lyra lived in the hill country of Illyria, in a small marble village carved into the base of Mount Eleutherion, where the gods lived above and the humans paid tribute below. Now in Illyria, people didn't dream of becoming heroes. They dreamed of becoming pleasing. Pleasing to look at, pleasing to listen to, pleasing to serve. The gods were always watching, and no one wanted to be the reason a thunderbolt came crashing down on the bakery. But Lyra, she was different. She had this wild, untamable red hair that looked like it was always dancing in the wind. Skin so pale it almost glowed, and eyes that made people nervous, like she saw too much. She wasn't the prettiest girl in town, but she was the most seen. Because she talked. Too much, according to the elders, too loudly, according to the priests, and definitely too boldly, according to the gods. She'd stand in the market and ask, "Why do we give the gods our best fruit when some families can't even eat?" Or during the town council meetings, "Why does the temple need another gold statue while the healer has no herbs?" People told her to be careful. Her mother cried. Her aunt stopped speaking to her. But Lyra didn't care, because she believed someone had to speak up. Now, once every season, something happened that froze the whole town. The ceremony of offerings. That's when the gods descended from their floating city in the sky, Mount Eleutherion, to collect tribute. Not money, not crops. They came for admiration, applause, adoration. The people lined the marble square. Women wore gowns stitched with stars. Men practiced bowing for hours. Children rehearsed praise songs with cracked voices and trembling hands. And at the center of it all, the god of attention himself, Callion, son of Apollo, god of reflection, vanity, and art that only exists to be seen. They said his beauty could make mirrors crack, that he once turned a mortal woman to smoke for looking away too soon. He didn't walk, he glided, in robes of silver and gold, surrounded by floating glass shards that spun like moons around his head. That morning, Lyra's mother begged her not to go. But Lyra pulled on her simple tunic, tied back her curls, and marched toward the square like a storm. She wasn't going to shout, she was going to watch and remind herself why she spoke up at all. But then he came. Callion. And the crowd went silent, like always. He stepped forward, basking in the stillness like it was sunlight. He smiled.
"I accept your silence as devotion."
And something inside Lyra snapped. She pushed through the crowd, stepped onto the marble steps, and said, loud enough for every god to hear, "You only accept silence because you fear what we'd say if we were allowed to speak." Gasps, screams. Someone dropped their lyre. Even Callion looked amused. He turned, eyes glittering, and stepped closer.
"And what would you say, little flame?"
Lyra lifted her chin, steady and brave. "That you don't care about the people, only about your reflection in their eyes." Silence. No one moved. But then, instead of striking her down, Callion did something worse. He smiled.
"Walk with me,"
he said.
"I have use for a girl like you."
And just like that, Lyra was chosen, but not for glory, not for truth, for something much darker, but only if she knew. At first she thought she was being chosen, but gods don't choose companions, they collect on toys. After Lyra confronts Callion at the tribute ceremony and everyone gasps, she storms off, expecting to get punished, exiled, maybe even vaporized. Instead, the next morning, a gold-sealed scroll arrives at her door. She's invited to speak privately with Lord Callion of the Mirror Hall. She thinks it's a trap, her aunt thinks it's an honor. Either way, she goes. The scroll didn't say where to go, it just said,
"At dusk, stand at the edge of the palace gardens. The chariot will know you."
So Lyra waits, nervous, wrapped in a simple blue shawl. And then, just as the sun slips below the hills, something arrives. It's not a horse or a chariot. It's a creature. A winged beast made of smoke and stars, its body shifting like the northern lights, with eyes that shimmer like coins at the bottom of a wishing well. It doesn't speak, just lowers its head. Lyra climbs on, and the second she does, they're off, soaring into the clouds. She clutches tight as the world blurs beneath them. Forests, mountains, cities, all shrinking below like toys. Then the air changes. They break through the clouds, and suddenly, she's not in her world anymore. She's in the Skylands, the secret realm of the gods. And it's breathtaking. Skies that swirl with colors she doesn't have names for. Buildings made of light. Rivers that float mid-air. Gold drips from treetops like fruit. Laughter echoes like music. Lyra stares, wide-eyed. How could the gods live like this, while people like her aunt are bartering for moldy bread back on Earth? She walks through the glowing streets, passing gods in every shape and form, some with wings, some with flames for hair, some who trail petals wherever they step, each one more extravagant than the last. Some notice her, most don't. She feels small, out of place, like a flea in a jewelry box. And then, a voice, sweet, smooth, and familiar.
You made it.
She turns. There he is. Callian, draped in a robe of liquid silver, a glint in his eye like he already knows what she's thinking.
Come,
He says, reaching out his hand.
I want to show you something.
She takes it, and he leads her to a quiet place. The mirror hall, a long corridor of glass walls that reflect not just your face, but your feelings, your fears, your secrets.
Speak.
He says.
Let me see how your voice paints the room.
She opens her mouth, and the mirrors shimmer to life. At first, the mirror hall seems magical. The walls are tall and flawless, not like the dusty mirrors in her old town square that only show you what's wrong with your face. These mirrors, they shimmer when you speak, they respond. Callian steps behind her, voice low and calm.
Most people come here to see what they look like, but you came to see who you are.
Lyra smiles, half flattered, half confused.
Do people usually know that?
Callian doesn't answer. Instead, he gestures to the walls.
Speak. Tell the mirror what you wish, what you wonder, what you fear.
She hesitates, then speaks softly to herself in her mind.
I want to matter, not just for a moment. I want to be unforgettable.
The mirrors ripple like water. Callian steps closer, and just for a second his eyes flicker, not with charm, but with knowing. Because here's what Lyra doesn't realize. This mirror room doesn't just reflect, it records. And Callian, he's the only one who can hear what the mirror truly captures. The deepest longings, the hidden hurts, the silent hopes you wouldn't dare say out loud. And once he knows them, he can use them. He turns from her just as the sound of a bell echoes in the distance. Soft, then louder. A celestial chime. The ball.
Ah, I forgot.
Callian says, taking her hand casually.
They're throwing a celebration in my honor tonight. Come.
Before she can respond, they're already walking down a shining corridor. She's in her traveling clothes, dusty flats, and a faded cloak. He stops when they pass a tall, flame-haired goddess lounging in a marble archway.
Saphra,
He says smoothly.
our guest needs something worthy of the room.
The goddess raises a brow, smirks, and winks at Lyra. And instantly, Lyra's clothes shift. Her cloak melts into soft gold. Her shoes rise into jeweled heels. Her dress becomes that regal golden gown, embroidered with celestial symbols, stars, suns, and moons that glint with every move. Lyra gasps and spins, stunned.
How did...
You wanted to be unforgettable.
Callian says.
Now you look the part.
She stares at herself, how did he know? She didn't remember saying that out loud. Lyra walks in a floating mirror by the wall before she could even take a glance at herself. Callian grabbed her hands as they made their way to the ball. But if she looked just a little longer, she might have seen the first sign of her reflection not even showing in the mirror. The ballroom is nothing like anything Lyra has ever seen, and that's saying something, considering she once watched a nobleman light his sleeves on fire just to impress a duke. This was divine. The floor is a massive disk of white marble, veined with gold that glows faintly underfoot. Columns stretch high into the clouds, twisting into shapes of animals, stars, and weeping angels. Music doesn't come from instruments, and it just exists in the air like the room itself is humming in harmony. And the guests? They aren't just royalty, they're gods. Gods with wings folded like cloaks, gods with skin that shimmered like obsidian. Gods with burning eyes, emerald hair, molten crowns, and in the middle of it all, her, Lyra. A mortal girl in a god's gown, arm in arm with Callian. As they walk in, the room hushes just a second too long. People notice her, or maybe they notice him. Whispers follow.
Another one?
He always brings them in gold first.
She won't last past the season.
Lyra tries not to look nervous, but it's like being dropped into someone else's dream, or nightmare. A god with silver eyes and no mouth offers her a glass. Another compliments her gown but stares a second too long, like trying to find cracks under the beauty. Callian doesn't flinch, doesn't explain. He only smiles and pulls her toward the head table.
You don't have to speak unless you want to, and
He says.
they already see what matters.
But Lyra feels it, like something's watching her from inside her reflection, like the mirror dress is wearing her. The ballroom smells like honeyed figs and power. A long table stretches across the center, dripping with fruit, gold, and greed. The gods are feasting, not just on food, but on plans. Callian raises a glass.
To the next collection, the mortals have more to give, their rivers, their crops, their songs. Let us build higher.
The others laugh. One god with glowing eyes adds,
They barely survive already. Soon they'll be worshipping out of desperation. Delicious.
Lyra, seated near the end, tightens her grip on her goblet. This is her first time seeing how the gods speak behind closed doors. And it's disgusting. She stands.
As God, you should want better for your people, but all you do is take and never give. We the people are the one that plant. We harvest, we bleed, so you can float higher above it all.
The room goes silent. A god seated across the table narrows his eyes at Callian.
Why is this one still speaking?
He asks coldly. A few others murmur in agreement. Callian sets down his glass, eyes still on Lyra. Then he turns to the table and dips his head with a soft, elegant smile.
Forgive her,
He says.
she's still learning. Adjustment is taking a bit longer than expected. Her voice is new here.
He walks toward Lyra slowly, not angry, not embarrassed, just calm, almost entertained. Then he looks at her like she's something rare.
Come, let me show you something reserved for those who dare to speak.
He holds out his hand. She hesitates, then takes it. As they walk out of the banquet hall and into a darker wing of the palace, Lyra starts to feel it. Voices, software strange, coming from nowhere and everywhere.
Don't go. He'll take it from you. You're already fading.
She stops mid-step.
Did you hear that?
She asks. Callian keeps walking, cool as ice.
Echoes,
He says.
this place is full of them. They sound like warnings
He doesn't turn around.
or regrets.
The hallway grows colder. Shadows stretch longer. And up ahead, the door to the mirror room begins to glow. The door creaks open. And Lyra forgets how to breathe. The mirror room isn't just made of mirrors. It is a mirror. Walls shimmer like water, reflecting infinite versions of her. Some older, some younger. Some dressed like a queen. Others barefoot and broken. There's no floor, just a smooth, glowing surface that ripples under her steps. She walks in slowly, her red hair catching the golden light like fire. Her reflection follows, but something feels off. Each time she blinks, a reflection lingers a little too long. She glances at Callian. He's already inside, standing near a massive mirror that's darker than the rest. No reflection shows in it, just deep, bottomless black. He moves to the center, motioning for her to step forward.
If you speak a desire here, it becomes impossible to lie. The room responds, not with what you say, but what you truly want.
She hesitates. The mirror pulses softly, like it's breathing.
Why would you show me this again?
She asks. Callian smiles without smiling.
Because most people don't know what they really are, until a mirror tells them.
She steps forward, drawn in.
So what do I do?
Speak. Let the room hear you.
Lyra's voice shakes.
I want to be heard.
The room doesn't react. Her lips tighten.
I'm tired of people brushing off what I say. Tired of speaking and getting silence. I want people to listen. Really listen. And understand. I don't want power. I don't want to rule. I just want my voice to matter.
The mirror hums. The mirror hums again. Deeper this time. Almost like a sigh. The air shifts, warm, then cold, then still. And suddenly, her reflection speaks, but it doesn't match her lips.
Then let them hear.
The reflection says, voice velvet and hollow. Lyra blinks.
What did you...
She turns to Callian. He's watching her. Not surprised, just patient.
It's begun.
He says.
What has?
She steps back, but the floor ripples beneath her feet like a pond. Her reflection smiles and a second too late.
What is this?
She whispers.
What's happening to me?
Callian walks over, slow and calm.
The mirror listens, remember? You wanted to be heard. Now, you will echo in every room you enter. Your voice will fill the silence. Your words will linger in the air, even when you're gone.
He leans in, eyes glowing faintly gold.
But there's a cost. The more people listen, the less of you there is to hear.
Lyra freezes.
Wait, I didn't agree to that.
The mirror pulses again, and suddenly her voice doubles, echoing over itself.
I didn't agree to that. Agree to that.
Her hands fly to her mouth, her eyes go wide.
Why is it repeating? Why is my voice...
Echoing?
Callian finishes.
Because now, that's what you are.
She backs away, heart racing. The reflections shift again, multiplying. Some show her shouting in rage, others whispering into nothing. All of them, alone.
You said you wanted to be heard.
Callian says softly.
This is how the gods listen.
Lyra's chest tightens. Her lips move to speak. But only the last thing he said comes out.
This is how the gods listen.
Her voice, not hers. She gasps, tries again.
This is how the gods...
She shuts her mouth, shaking. The mirror dims. Her reflections vanish. Only the dark mirror remains. And in its surface, and she sees herself, but not as she is, as something fading. She stares at the dark mirror, frozen. The version of her inside it doesn't move, doesn't blink. It just flickers, a hollow outline.
That's not me,
she whispers. No sound. Her hand shoots to her throat. She tries again. Still nothing, not even a breath. Across the room, Callian watches quietly.
You wanted to be heard.
He says softly.
Now they'll hear your words forever, even after they forget your name.
Lyra takes a step back. The mirror ripples beneath her. Every reflection of her and the barefoot girl, the child with bright eyes, the version who dared to speak, all begin to fade. Mouths open, voices gone. She's the only one left, and even she is slipping. The mirror room dissolves into golden light. The corridor reforms around her, warm, glowing, endless. Callion stands at the far end, his silhouette bathed in divine gold. He turns slightly.
The ball awaits,
He says. From her lips, without meaning to, the words echo back.
The ball awaits.
Her voice, now airy and distant, stretches behind his. Not her choice and not her tone, just a haunting copy. Her legs begin to move. She doesn't decide to follow. She just does. Like her body belongs to memory now, not will. Like she's part of the hallway, part of the echo. As they approach the ballroom, the grand doors swing open. Music surges, the crowd erupts in applause, candles blaze above polished marble, every gaze turns toward her, and they see her perfect, radiant, silent. She tries to speak, but the silence inside her is louder than anything she could have said. Still, her presence stuns the room. Even without words, she commands it. The gown clings to her like starlight. Her eyes burn with unspoken truths. She is unforgettable, just like she asked, even if she's no longer there. Years have passed. The skies above Therion, the golden capital of the gods, are calm. But down on Earth, in the village of Elthria, a new ceremony is underway. Drums beat, silk banners wave. The people gather in the town square just like they always have. To offer tribute, to bow, to listen. And there, stepping down from a chariot carved from lightning, is Callion, unaged, untouched by time. He walks slowly through the crowd, his robe shimmering like constellations. People bow, girls swoon, poets weep. He stops in front of a young girl, human, barely 17, head down, eyes wide. He raises a single hand toward her and says, loud enough for the heavens to hear,
I accept your silence as devotion.
The words echo through the stone, the sky, the soul. And deep within the sound, another voice answers. Lyra's. Her voice, no longer her own, woven into the wind.
Your silence is devotion.
A chill runs through the crowd. But no one understands why. From the edge of the square, another voice pierces the silence. A girl, bold, angry, alive.
Why do you only speak when it benefits you? You take from us our land, our names, our future, and call it worship.
The people freeze. Callion turns slowly, as if savoring the moment. The same amused look he once gave her. He walks to the girl, leans in, and says with that same velvet tone,
Walk with me.
He says.
I have use for a girl like you.
The camera pans upward, above the rooftops, into the clouds. Lyra's voice, now just an echo, whispers softly over the wind.
Don't go. Please. Don't make the same wish I did.
Fade to black.